Hello, my dear students of third prep. Today we are going to have the final algebra revision. I wish that all of you understand the lesson and all of you try to solve the problems with me. Let us start by the first example. The point 3 and negative 4 lies in which quadrant? Is it the first, second, third, or fourth? First of all, you are going to notice that x is a positive number and y is a negative number. So in this case, we can say that this point lies in the fourth quadrant. Another example, if n of x equals 2, n of x cross y equals 6, then n of y power 2 or y2 equals what? Is it 4, 3, 9, or 16? First of all, what about the number of elements of y? Yes, that's correct. Ny equals 6 divided 2 equals 3. So we can say that ny2 equals 3 to the power of 2 equals 9. So 9 will be the third choice. Another example, the range of the set of values 7, 3, 6, 9, and 5 is what? Is it 3, 4, 6, or 12? All of you know that the range will be the greatest value minus the smallest value. So what about the greatest value? It's 9. What about the smallest one? It's 3. So range equals 9 minus 3 to obtain a result as 6. If xy equals 7, then y varies what? Is it 1 over x, x minus 7, x, or x plus 7? First of all, you know that xy equals 7, so we can find y. How? By dividing both sides by x. So y equals 7 over x. And in this case, we can say that y varies inversely as x. So it will be 1 over x, which is the first choice. Another example, if 3a equals 4b, then a ratio b equals what? Is it 3 ratio 4, or 4 ratio 3, or 3 ratio 7, or 4 ratio 7? First of all, 3a equals 4b. You are going to divide both sides by 3 to obtain a result as a equals 4 over 3b. Then by dividing both sides by b, so you are going to find that a over b equals 4 over 3. So the ratio between them will be 4 ratio 3, which is the second choice. Another example, if f of x equals x to the power of 3 plus 2x is a polynomial function of which degree? Is it first degree, second, third, or fourth? Here we are going to look for the greatest power of x. What about the first term? It is x to the power of 3. The second term, it is x to the power of 1. Which of them is the greater? Yes, that's correct. The greatest is power 3. So in this case, we can say that this function is of the third degree, which is the third choice. Another example, if 2, 3, 6, and x are proportion, then x equals what? Is it 9, 18, 12, or 3? First of all, as they are in proportion, so we can say that 2 over 3 equals 6 over x. And then by making cross multiplication, you are going to find the value of x as 3 multiplied by 6 over 2 to obtain a result as 9, which is the first choice. Another example. What is one of the measurements of the dispersion? Is it the arithmetic mean, range, median, or mode? Yes, that's correct. The range is one of the dispersion measurements, so it is the second choice. Another example. If f of x equals 5, then f of 5 plus f of negative 5 equals what? Is it 0, 10, 5, or 1? First of all, what about f of x equals 5? It is said to be a constant function. So what about f of 5? Yes, f of 5 will be 5. What about f of negative 5? It will be also 5 as the function is constant. So f of 5 plus f of negative 5 equals 5 plus 5 to obtain a result as 10, which is the second choice. Another example. If 1 and 4 belongs to 2 and x cross 1 and 4, then x equals what? Is it 1, 2, 4, or 6? First of all, when you cross, you make the cross, so it is 2 and 1, 2 and 4, x and 1, x and 4. What about 1 and 4? Yes, 1 and 4 belongs to x and 4. So in this case, we can say that the value of x will be 1, which is the first choice. Another example. If the point A and 3 is located on the straight line which represents the function f from R to R, where f of x equals 4x minus 5, then A equals what? Is it 2, 3, 7, or 4? Here, A and 3 is located on the straight line, so we can substitute by A and 3 in the function. That's correct. So, A and 3 by substituting in the function f of x equals 4x minus 5. What about f of x? It's y. So, by substituting for the value of y as 3 equals substituting for x by a, so 3 equals 4a minus 5. In this case, we can say that 4a equals 8. And finally, we can find the value of a as 2, which is going to be the first choice. Another example. The mean proportion of 4 and 9 is what? Is it 36, 6, positive or negative 6, or 13? First of all, you know that the mean proportion is the repeated value. So we can say that 4 over x equals x over 9. By making cross multiplication, you are going to find that x to the power of 2 equals 4 times 9, which gives 36. So x power 2 equals 36. Then x equals positive or negative 6, which is the third choice. You have another way to solve such a problem, as the mean proportion will be positive or negative square root AC, which is square root the first and the last values. So it is positive or negative root 4 times 9, which is 36. Then it will be positive or negative 6. Another example. If x over 6 equals y over 5 equals x plus y over what? Is it 6, 5, 1, or 11? You have taken that sum of antecedents over sum of consequence equals each ratio. What about sum of antecedents? It's x plus y. What about the sum of consequence? It is 6 plus 5. So it is going to be x plus y over 11. Then it will be the last choice. Another example, if x equals 2, 3, and 5, y equals 4, 6, 8, and 10, R is a relation from x to y, where A relation B means 2A equals B for all values of A belongs to x and B belongs to y. Then write R as a set of ordered pairs and represent it by arrow diagram. State whether R is a function or not, giving reasons, and if so, find its range. First of all, 2A equals B. Then what about the relation? Yes, 2 times 2 equals 4. So the first order pair of the relation will be 2 and 4. Then 2 times 3 equals 6. So it is 3 and 6. 2 times 5 equals 10. So it is 5 and 10. And this is going to be the relation. How can you represent it by arrow diagram? Yes, the values of x are 2, 3, and 5. Values of y will be 4, 6, 8, and 10. And then we are going to draw an arrow from 2 to 4, from 3 to 6, from 5 to 10. Now look carefully. Is this relation a function or not? Yes, of course, R is a function because every element in x has only one arrow coming out to y. And as it is a function, so we can find the range. What about the range? It is a subset of y, and it is going to be 4, 6, and 10. Let us have another example. If y varies 1 over x, y equals 3 when x equals 2, find the relation between x and y. Then find the value of y when x equals 3 over 2. First of all, y varies as 1 over x, so we can say that y equals m over x. By substituting for the values of y by 3 and x equals 2, so we can say that 3 equals m over 2. By making cross multiplication, you are going to find that m equals 3 times 2 equals 6. So in this case, we can say that y equals 6 over x, and this is going to be the relation between x and y. Now to find the value of y when x equals 3 over 2, so y equals 6 over 3 over 2, which gives a result as 4. Let us have another example. If B is the middle proportion between A and C, prove that A minus B over A minus C equals B over B plus C. First of all, as B is the middle proportion between A and C, so we can say that A over B equals B over C, which is equal to a constant m. By making cross multiplication, you are going to find that B equals Cm and A equals Cm to the power of 2. By taking the left-hand side, you are going to notice that left-hand side equals A minus B over A minus C, which is Cm to the power of 2 minus Cm over, what about A? Cm power 2 minus C. By taking highest common factor from both numerator and denominator, so you are going to find that taking Cm from the numerator as a common factor, so that's correct, the bracket will be m minus 1. And from the denominator, we are going to take C as a common factor, so Cm power 2 divided C gives m power 2 minus 1. Then you are going to reduce. But first of all, you are going to notice that m power 2 minus 1 can be factorized. So we can say that's correct. Cm times m minus 1 over c. Difference between two squares, so the two brackets will be m minus 1, m plus 1. By reducing, you are going to notice that c will going to be reduced with c, and m minus 1 will be reduced with m minus 1 to obtain a result as m over m plus 1. And this is going to be the first side, which is the left-hand side. What about the right-hand side? Let us see. The right-hand side is b over b plus c. So by substituting b equals cm. So cm over cm plus c. By taking from the denominator c as a common factor, so it is going to be cm over, that's correct, c brackets m plus 1. By reducing c with c, you are going to find a result as m over m plus 1. And in this case, you are going to notice that the left-hand side equals the right-hand side, and you have proved what he wanted. Another example. Represent graphically the function f of x equals 4 minus x to the power of 2, where x belongs to the closed interval from negative 3 up to 3. And from the graph, find the vertex of the curve, minimum or maximum value of the function, and finally the equation of the axis of symmetry. First of all, to represent graphically, you must plot a table. So this table will be x and f of x, which is y. What about the values of x starting from negative 3 up to 3? So the values of x will be from negative 3 up to 3. When x equals negative 3, the value of y will be negative 5. When x equals negative 2, the value of y will be 0. When x equals negative 1, by substituting, the value of y will be 3. When x equals 0, y equals 4. When x equals 1, y equals 3. When x equals 2, y equals 0. And finally, when x equals 3, y equals negative 5. Let us try to plot these points on your graph papers. So by plotting the two axes, the x-axis and the y-axis, which is f of x, try to plot the points negative 3 and negative 5, then negative 2 and 0, negative 1 and 3, 0 and 4, 1 and 3, 2 and 0, and finally 3 and negative 5. Join these points all together, you are going to obtain a curve opened downwards. Then, can you find now the vertex of this curve? Of course, yes, the vertex of this curve will be what? Yes, that's correct. The vertex of the curve will be 0 and 4. And it has a maximum value. Why? Because it's opened downwards. So the maximum value will be 4. What about the equation of the symmetry line? Yes, equation of symmetry line will be x equals. And in our case, in this problem, the equation of the axis of symmetry will be x equals 0. Another example. If x equals 2 and 5, y equals 1 and 2, and z equals 3, find the number of x cross y and y intersection x cross z. First of all, what about number of elements of x cross z? Yes, it's number of elements of x times number of elements of z. How many elements are there in x? 2 elements. How many elements are there in Z? Only one element. So it is 2 multiplied by 1 to obtain a result as 2. Then what about Y intersection X cross Z? First of all, what about Y intersection X? It means the common elements between Y and X. That's correct. The only element which is common is 2. In this case, we can say that Y intersection X equals 2 cross Z, which is 3. So 2 cross 3 equals 2 and 3 in an order pair and set. Let us have another example. If x power 4, y power 2, minus 14, x to the power of 2y, plus 49 equals 0, prove that y varies inversely as the square of x. First of all, when you take x to the power of 4, y to the power of 2, minus 14, x to the power of 2y plus 49 equals 0, by factorizing such an equation, we are going to find that there will be 2 brackets. The first bracket is x to the power of 2y minus 7, and the other one is x to the power of 2y minus 7 equals 0. You are going to notice that these 2 brackets are the same, so we can start by x squared y minus 7 equals 0, and the other one will be exactly the same. So x to the power of 2 minus y equals 7. Now, can you find y? Of course, yes, by dividing both sides by x to the power of 2. So y equals 7 over x to the power of 2, which is y equals m over x to the power of 2. And then you are going to notice that y will be varies inversely as the square of x. Let us have another example. Find the mean and standard deviation of the following table. The sets are 0 dash, 4 dash, 8 dash, 12 dash, 16 dash, and then total. What about the frequency? It is 2, 5, 8, 15, 10, and the total will be 40. First of all, to find the mean and the standard deviation of such a table, this table shows the sets from 0 up to 4, from 4 up to 8. So we have to plot a table consisting of 7 columns. Then what about the first column? It is the sets, which are 0 dash, 4 dash, 8 dash, 12 dash, and 16 dash. You have to find x. What about x? X is the middle between 0 and 4. What's the number in between 0 and 4? Yes, it's 2. How can you got it? Yes, it is 0 plus 4 equals 4, divided by 2 equals 2. Then the second, 4 plus 8 equals 12, divided by 2 to obtain 6. So the values of x will start by 2. Then 6, and then add 4, so it is 10, 14, and 18. Then what about k? K is the frequency, so k will be 2, 5, 8, 15, and 10. Then you are going to find the value of x times k. So to find x times k, it is 2 times 2 gives 4, 6 times 5 equals 30, 10 times 8 equals 80, 14 times 15 equals 210, and 18 times 10 equals 180. And you are going to notice that the sum of the values of k will be 40. Then here we must first find x bar, yes, which is the mean. What about x bar? You know that x bar equals, yes, the sum of x times k, which is 504, divided by the sum of k, which is 40. Then we are going to find that x bar equals summation of x times k over summation of k, which is 504 divided 40, which gives a result as 12.6. So in this case, we can say that x bar will be 12 minus 6. By returning back to our table, we are going to find x minus x bar. So you are going to subtract x, which is 2, minus 12.6 to obtain a result as negative 10.6. Then 6 minus 12.6 to obtain a result as negative 6.6. Then 10 minus 12.6 to obtain a result as negative 2.6. 14 minus 12.6 to obtain a result as 1.4. And finally 18 minus 12.6 to obtain a result as 5.4. Then the next step is x minus x bar all to the power of 2. It means that the last column will be all squared. It means that negative 10.6 will be squared. So it is to the power of 2 will obtain 112.36. What about negative 6.6 all to the power of 2? It will be 43.56. What about negative 2.6 all to the power of 2? It is 6.76. 1.4 to the power of 2, it will be 1.96. And finally 5.4 all to the power of 2 will be 29.16. The last step is x minus x bar all to the power of 2 multiplied by k. It means that the last column will be multiplied by k, which is the third column. So 2 times 112.36 will give 224.72. Then 5 times 43.56 to obtain a result as 217.8. Then 8 times 6.76 to obtain a result as 54.08. Then 15 times 1.96 equals 29.4. And finally 10 times 29.16 to obtain a result as 291.6. Now we have to find the summation of x minus x bar all to the power of 2 multiplied by k. How you are going to add all the values of the last column. So 224.72 plus 217.8 plus 54.08 plus 29.4 plus 291.6 to obtain a result as 817.6. And this is going to be the summation of x minus x bar to the power of 2 times k. Then what about the standard deviation? Yes, all of you know that the standard deviation, which is denoted by this shape, is going to be square root summation of x minus x bar all to the power of 2 times k over summation of k. So it is a square root of, what about summation x minus x bar to the power of 2 times k? It is 817.6 from the table. And what about the summation of k? It is 40 from the table. So by dividing 817.6 by 40 and taking their square root to obtain a result as square root 20.44, which is equal approximately to 4.52. And in this case, we can say that the standard deviation is 4.52. By the end of this example, we reached the end of our lesson today. And I wish that all of you understood all the examples which we have taken. Thank you for good listening and goodbye.